Yo, what's going on? It is way past 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake, Illinois. Sorry for running a little bit late, guys, but it is time for another live stream. Today is Monday, February 23rd, 2026. We are nearing the end of February, almost into March, and we are getting a little bit of a blowback to winter. It started to feel like spring for a little bit here in Crystal Lake, and now it has gotten chilly again, but nothing compared to what some of you guys are getting over on the East Coast. So everyone that is dealing with that, hope you guys are doing okay. Let's say hi first to everyone listening on the audio-only version of the podcast. Hopefully you guys are, maybe you're listening to this while shoveling snow, but hopefully you're listening to this while sipping on a nice cup of coffee and just looking out the window. Hopefully you still have power. Hopefully it's still warm. And you are cozy and safe. And for everyone else watching this later but not live, hopefully you made it through with your day with kids being home from school, all the other disruptions. Hope everyone is doing all right. I know that some people are starting to head out for... Are people heading out now for Tokyo? And if you're on the East Coast, I don't know if you're going to make it out. So if that's you, let me know what's going on with all that. All right. Let's see who we got here. Sorry I'm running late. I just got back from a run, and it was my second run since Black Canyon. Yesterday was my first. I went running for 5 miles. Felt pretty good, but like tired. Body felt fine, but like I was kind of like, yeah, that was 5 miles. And then today I felt really good, and I feel like I could have run much longer, but I was short on time. I actually overdid it, because I was late. But yeah, all right. Mike Lukens is here. He says he's not back to running for a bit. He was leading in the Swamp 30K, 11.6 miles, crashed, cut knee to the bone, a DNF, and no 3P. Oh, my goodness. It cost $326 for a clean-out stitches and tetanus shot and 5 days of Cipro. Oh. Hopefully you're doing all right, man. Sorry to hear about that. All right. And he says antibiotics apparently weaken tendons, but still hopeful for Boston. Maybe slower now. Hopefully you can still make it out for that race. Man. Doppler JD is here, says, what's up, everyone? And, yeah, Daniel Estrella says, so there's this guy named Ethan Shuley. Yeah, so I've known about Ethan for a little while because he has a YouTube channel. I don't know if you guys know, but Ethan Shuley has a YouTube channel. I found him as I was putting together my list of fastest known marathoners for men. Let me pull up that list. And let's see where, he just had a PR, so I know I do need to update the list. Should we do that live? Let's do it live. Okay. Let me show you my screen. Let me show you my fastest known YouTubers list. Here we go. So here it is. There was a couple of updates recently. So, who is it? Roby Sayanturi set a new Southeast Asian area record. Ran a 2:13. He was a 2:15 guy or something like that. And so he bumped up several spaces to run a 2:13. And then Ethan Shuley, what did he had a huge PB. So he was a 2:11:30 guy as far as I knew. But now he's run much better. Let me see. Ethan Shuley. What was he ran Osaka? He ran I thought he ran a 2:06. Okay, he ran a 2:07:14, it looks like. So let's put that on there. 2:07:14. That puts him right behind Phil Sessman. Oh my goodness. That's crazy. Good job, Ethan. Yeah. Crazy fast. But man, that's a fast dude. That makes him the second fastest YouTubing marathoner anyway. American marathoner anyway. So really cool. But yeah, so it's not like I know the guy, and I haven't been following him for that long. And he doesn't have that many videos. He's maybe like 6 or 7 videos, but I've watched them all. So it's just kind of like really interesting. It was funny because in the first episode, he's like, I'm the fastest American I'm the fastest marathoner, American marathoner in Japan right now, or something like that. I'm like, oh man, that's like a lot of qualifiers. He's just a fast dude, and now hopefully he feels like he's just a fast dude, because he's a really fast dude. So yeah. Rafael Carvalho says, great video on the race. What's the elevation gain? I did the CIA 50-mile trail run last year, which is 80% at night. Maybe canyon next so I could see where I am running. Yeah, the race, my watch ended up with over 5,000 feet of gain for Black Canyon over the 60 miles. I think that the GPX file that I had, which was very useful because I made a couple of wrong turns at night in the dark, and if it wasn't for the watch, I don't think I would be able to have found it. But the things that I did, I used the Coros Apex 4, I think it was, and it had not only the map on the watch, but also the screen that I used the most, which was the elevation profile. So it tells you like what is coming, like when you're on a Stairmaster, and it shows you like when it's going to get harder coming up or when it's going to get easier. Like that's the screen that I watched on the Coros. So I watched that. I was only supposed to get like 4,900 feet, but I ended up with like 5,200 feet. At least however the watch measured it. So it was not crazy for 100K, but enough to make it noticeable, Yeah, JC says, if you add enough qualifiers, all of us are probably fastest at something. Yeah, I always feel like that's where people need to figure out how to exist, where you're like, keep qualifying something, like modifying something until like you're really good at it. Or like, the way I look at it is like to combine niches, I'm not the fastest runner and I'm not the best videographer, but I'm a pretty good fast run videographer, or relatively fast videographer. You know what I mean? I'm also not good at making videos, but I can make them quickly. I'm not the fastest at making videos quickly, but I'm pretty good at making good videos fast. So you just got to keep until you find what you're like excellent at. Just keep niching down. Eric says, it's a sneaky 55 to 5,800 feet of gain at Black Canyon. The watches can't really account for all the little micro topography out there. I agree. There's all those little, what are they called? Gullies? The places where like the terrain or the trail goes across like a little washout riverbed, and it dips to all these, I call them like momentum killers. Because every time you're running, and then it dips down and then it's like back up and it just grinds you to a halt every time. Yeah. All right. Tim Lofton wants to know, why no gaiters at the 100K? Seems like the kind of course that one could benefit from wearing these. I've just never run in gaiters before, so I didn't run in them. And I don't know that a gaiter would have helped me for the race that I ran, not Black Canyon anyway. There was 3 water crossings, and only one of them was kind of gross. It was like your foot sank into the riverbed, and like sand came in the shoe, and then the river silt came into my sock, and that was kind of gross. I don't know that a gaiter would help that. I don't think anyway. So like if I could prevent that again, I would like that. Otherwise, I don't mind my feet getting wet. Yeah, I think that I would wear a gaiter if there was more sand in the race, but there wasn't that much sand. There was a lot of dirt and dust, but not a lot of like sand, like Sahara Desert sand, Duke BB says, Cole is a little more clean shaven today. Looks good. Yeah. So I left the mustache longer for the race because I was like, I'm going to run a 100K in the desert. I feel like I need to look the part a little bit more. So I left just the mustache. I can't really do like the long, like this part of my face, the hair doesn't grow in, but I left it longer there. Now everything is kind of the same length ish now, almost. Vanessa says, great race video. Had all the things, highs, lows, falls, and flat Coke. Yeah, the Coke wasn't that flat. Let me tell you. The Coke was just regular Coke, which was delicious and tasty. Um, but it wasn't super flat. But you know what? I didn't have any disposable cups with, like, not disposable, the reusable cups with me because it's a cupless race. And so I've had like a bunch. I one time I just bought, like, I think on Amazon or something, like a 3 pack of those like silicone cups that you can have for trail races. And I I gave them, I don't know where they all went, but I couldn't find any of them. And I was like, I'm probably not gonna need it. And then I really wish that I had them because every time I came into an aid station, I would see people coming out of this aid station, like walking, like eating a bean taco in one hand and walking with like a cup of soda in the other. And I'm like, that looks so nice. But since I only had my bottles with me, what I would do at the aid station was, if whatever bottle was empty, I would ask them to like fill it like halfway with Coke. I would drink that at the aid station, and then I would refill it with my regular scratch drink mix. And then I didn't have any Coke to walk out. I need a walkout Coke, you know? So I think I need to make sure I have a single use or repeat use cup, you know? Yeah. Cosmo Final Michael says, greetings from the epicenter of a blizzard. Yeah, you guys are getting so much snow. I mean, the thing is, I always know that like late February is like the snowiest time usually. And so like I'm kind of jealous because I do love running in the snow. And it looks so pretty, but like you guys are getting so much of it now. It's like too much of a good thing. So hopefully you guys are doing okay and everyone's staying safe in there. I saw like Herm went out there to go for a run, and I'm like, oh my God, that's too much. That's way too much snow to be trying to run in. Mark says, is there something specific about Coke that's better, or would like flat root beer also work? I think Coke just tastes right when you're like dehydrated and like you want something to drink. I think that just Coke, the flavor profile is good. I think that I personally, like, I prefer Sprite over Coke generally. But I think that like everything kind of tastes like Sprite in the gels world, you know? And so like I don't think that a Sprite would hit quite the same as a Coke would. I think it's that caramel flavor or whatever it is that makes Coke taste like Coke. That's really nice. I think, anyway. Vanessa says, Philly was with On and now she's with Lululemon. Glad she doesn't need to run in their shoes. And she probably doesn't need to run in their shoes. Yeah, I don't think they make, like, who's the other athlete? Colleen Quigley is a Lululemon athlete still, I think. And like, they don't, like, I don't think Lululemon makes them. Oh, and Nikki Hiltz. They are Lululemon athlete as well. I don't think Lululemon makes any of them like do a lot of stuff in their daily trainer shoes. You know what I mean? So in some ways, I feel like Lululemon is like a good partner to have, because then it's like not having a partner. You could just do whatever you want. But then also at the same time, I'm like, feels different, you know? But if that's working for Philly, I'm super happy for her. I remember her from her kind of New Balance days. I remember before that too. I mean, I started watching Philly, I think when she had like 3 or 4 videos. She used to have the same intro like for every video. The one where she would like, I think it was like the clips were, a lot of it were like after she had run her first marathon ever and she like collapsed on a bed, like still wearing all her kit and stuff. That was the same intro she used to have to all the videos. That's back when I started watching. So I've been following for a long time. It's amazing to see how much she's grown. And how like she and Danielle have just been able to like really figure out how to make videos, what their voices are, who their audience is, and they're firing on all cylinders. So that's super cool. Oh yeah. Kurt Rierson says Ali Ostrander is also a Lululemon athlete. Yeah. Forgot about her. But that's good. Yeah, it seems like it works for them, right? I hope it works for them. Yeah, you know. Tony says, you know, us old guys can still PR code, just need to find the right course. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at all the flat fast ones. I'm looking for all the flat fast ones. So I'm trying. I still got it in mind. I was just thinking yesterday that I'm like, all right, how many weeks till my next fast marathon attempt? It's going to be later in the fall. And so I'm like, how do I want to spend? A lot of the times I'm like, all right, I got like 11 weeks. What am I going to do? But now I've got like a little bit more than 11 weeks. So I'm like, okay, how do I spend the next amount of time? Normally when I have this much time, it's February and I don't want to do a fast marathon until later in the year. I'm like, oh, I got plenty of time. I can do maybe I'll do a long trail race or maybe I'll do a track season or something. And so now I'm like, oh, I did the trail race. So I'm good. I've got that out of my system for a little bit. I might still do like a weekend 3-hour jaunt through the trails. That was kind of fun. Yeah, so I'm trying to think of like, when does the next training series start? Is it, cause like Luke Talbot, he started his training series for Chicago Marathon like the day after the last Chicago Marathon. So like his training block is like, this is week 14 of 50, you know? So I'm like, I don't know if I want to make that kind of training series, but yeah. Gotta think about getting that next fast one in. Oh, wait. Louis says Ali Ostrander is Wazelle. Oh, okay. Wait. Yes. And Frank says, I think I could get Lululemon and Wazelle. I think, yeah, could confuse as well. Yes. You guys are right. See, okay. Doppler JD says, Kofuzi, after running the race, what is your thought on Hans running 7:20 time and how impressive is that? Yeah, 7:20 is unimaginable. The times that like the pro runners are running for 100K is something that I'm having a hard time like wrapping my head around. In a way that's different from like me unable to wrap my head around professional marathoners running their professional marathon times, right? So like even when I think about like when even like semi-pro marathon men or like sub-elites or whatever, they are doing their marathon pacing at faster than like my 5K race pace, right? And for some of them, they're doing it at faster than my mile pace, right? And so that blows my mind in a lot of ways. But what, and maybe it's just because like I've only done one 100K and I kind of, screwed it up in the front half. But like, it seems to be like an order of magnitude much more difficult in my mind that they are running like that they ran the whole way. You know what I mean? Like what do you mean you ran the whole 100K? I walked for 4 hours and I sat for like 45 total minutes. You know what I mean? And like, you just didn't even stop. You just kept running, no breaks, like that's a part like, I'm not, I spent the first part of this live stream today talking about how I'm not like good at stuff, right? I'm decent at running, I think, for a 46-year-old. All right, let's niche down. For a 46-year-old that was not naturally all that talented, I'm decent at running. I ran 80-mile weeks getting ready for this 100K, and it slapped me in the face and was not apologetic at all about it. That anyone can come in and run 100K. No stopping, no walksies. That blows my mind. That they could do it in 7 hours. They do it in more. They more than doubled me up. They did it in less than half the amount of time that it took me to do it. It's not that I'm saying I'm that great, but it's wild to it's incomprehensible to me. How different that is. Yeah, Michelle South running says. Michelle's outrunning says, yeah, Ashley Paulson running the 7:21 at Jackpot 100 mile is absolutely wild. That also is crazy. Another 40 miles. Like for me, Like 8-minute miles is my steady pace. And like I could do that, you know, 20 miles, but that's a big day. I could do more than 20 miles maybe. But like that's a big day for me. And I know that like her 7:21 for 100 miles is a big day for her. It's a record, you know, but like still like to do that 5x on that, 5 times that. Again, no walksies. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Yeah, and Eric says, it's not uncommon to have the podium take half the time of us normies and ultras. Yeah, wild, wild. Like, what do you mean that guy went home, ate dinner, took a nap, showered, cleaned up, and then came back later, and I'm still running. It's just it's so crazy. By the way, I have, speaking of the Jackpot 100. Does anyone know what shoes did Rajpal Panot run in? Because like I don't know how. I've messaged him a bunch of times. We've communicated before, but we're not like friends. So like I don't know exactly what his like mental space is with what happened with the previous 100 victory that he had, where he got DQ'd for running in the Skyward X. But does anyone? And so I've been wanting to ask, but does anyone know what shoes did Rajpal Panot run in? Anyone? Let's see. Give me 1 second here. Oh, Tony says everyone forgets about Ashley's dopamine. I wasn't aware of that. I didn't know that. I'll look into that, Tony. Crazy. Thank you for pointing that out. Ori's story says, he probably didn't run in the Skyward X. You know what? Like no one that's been reporting on it has like mentioned the backstory of like, oh, the last time this guy ran, he got DQ'd. And no one has mentioned, by the way, he ran in Rocket X3s or something. Which Rocket X3s, I'm not sure if Rocket X3 is a race legal shoe. But anyway, yeah. All right. Adriana's here. He goes, "Hey, Patrick's wife here. Hey, what's going on? How are you?" Said, "Black Canyon vid was one of your best. You had me locked in, cheering for you through the screen. You truly showed your passion for running. Thanks for sharing your journey, honestly." Well, thank you for watching. Did you watch with the baby? Hopefully the baby enjoyed it too. Hope you guys are doing okay. Yeah. So like, going back to like the okay. Yeah, Tony says it goes back to 2014, 2015, back in her triathlete days. Oh, okay. Oh, people have forgotten about that. No one mentioned that at all. I mean, it's kind of weird to be like, oh, by the way, but I feel like it should come up. Interesting. All right. Eric says the live stream did comment on the DQ for time last year for Mountain Outpost, but it was a WADA compliant stack this year for sure. I couldn't tell from the shoes right away which one it was, and I was like, wait, what is it? Let's take a look. There was like a little curve on it. Where did I put those shoes? Oh, okay. Let's see. See, I don't have the Rocket X3s here, but I thought from the images that I saw that I recognized this. These are the CLX ones, X1 3.0s. So hopefully he ran in these, which I'm fairly certain that these are compliant. But yeah. But I was also thinking about Rajpal Panot the other day because I forget what I was. I was watching. I don't know how I got on this, but I was on Instagram, and then all of a sudden there was this guy that was doing like a nunchucks routine to music, and it was a really long routine, and he was just like going off, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty cool. Not my normal Instagram feed, but somehow this came on. I think maybe it was the music that was the crossover. Like I've heard that song a bunch of times, and it reminded me because Raj has done a bunch of nunchucks reels. I don't know if he's done that recently, but he used to do it a lot. All right. Matt Maldo says the 100K video got me hyped the frick up on my treadmill run this weekend. Great content, Kofuzi. Proud to be rocking your singlet for my race kit in my next race in April. Well, good luck to you in April. Hopefully the treadmill run went well. It sounds like it did. Well, thank you so much for your support. All right. David Diff says, how is running at night? I feel like that's what's stopping me from being interested in a race like a 100K. I would 100% get lost. I started to panic like a couple of days beforehand that I was going to get lost in the desert. And then because I was off course, no one would know I was off course for a really long time. And then I have to spend overnight in the desert and I have to wake up and then be like, oh, now I got to run 12 miles back to get to the course and then finish another 7 miles on the, I was worried that like something like that was going to happen. But it was fine. It just got chilly, which again, I don't have a problem with running chilly. Not usually, but I was shivering cold. So that was a little bit uncomfortable, but overall, like running at night wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, even though the terrain got pretty, like not nasty, but some of the tougher terrain, like sure-footedness wise, happened in the dark hours for me. But it wasn't too bad. Maybe I would have enjoyed it more with a pacer, although I was struggling a lot, and it was the kind of struggle where you're like, I don't want to be around anyone else. So I would have been really annoying to be around if I had a pacer. But everyone else seemed to have a pacer, and that I feel like that makes the night part better. Also, it helps with the navigation too, because then someone else that's fresher mentally can look for the course markings and when you're supposed to make a turn. And sometimes I just didn't see them, I didn't have to do any major backtracking, but sometimes I would be running and all of a sudden I'd be like, I don't know where I'm supposed to go right now. Like normally, like for most of the race, it was very kind of clear. You didn't need many course markings to be able to follow most of the race. Cause there's a path, but then every once in a while I would stop running in the dark. I would just stop and look around and I was in a clearing and I was like, I don't know where I'm supposed to go here. It's not apparent to me. And so I would look at my watch. The map was on my watch. I never had to bust out my phone, so I never got like that discombobulated, but there were times, and especially in the dark, like the desert darkness swallows up light really fast. And so like a person could be really close behind you, but like even with headlamps and stuff that people might have, you might not know that there's anyone around you. And so it could get really isolating really quickly. So maybe that's not helping you. But it was better than I thought it would be overall. Yeah. All right, someone else had a 100K question. I want to answer that one too. Where'd it go? Oh, Andrew says, "Co, are you actually going to pair a belt with the buckle and wear it around? Pair that with your Boston jacket, and the folks at the YMCA are going to hit the floor." Yeah, I'm going to get a belt. It's a belt buckle, so why not? Where is it? I don't know where else to put it. I don't know what else to do with it otherwise. So I'm gonna get a little leather strap. I used to wear a belt with a belt buckle a lot in college, and then shortly after college too. When I used to ride motorcycles, I had a lot of belts with belt buckles, not big ones, nothing too gaudy. Usually one with a bottle opener on it, that kind of novelty kind of thing. But yeah, so I've done it before. It's just been a while. I don't have the kind of belt that you can attach a belt buckle to. So I'll have to get another one. But that's my plan. All right, here's the question I was looking for. Billy Overich wants to know, would you have changed anything in your fueling plan for the 100K? I felt like the fueling went pretty well, except the only thing that I would do differently is plan for more liquid during the hottest hours of the day and not assume, oh, I'll be fine. Because it's the getting to Deep Canyon Ranch from Bumblebee to Deep Canyon Ranch is like, there's a 1 aid station there, Gloriana, I want to say. And from Deep Canyon to Gloriana wasn't that far. So I maybe drank like half a bottle, maybe 2/3 of one of my 2 bottles. And so I got to Gloriana. I was like, I think I'm fine. It's not that far to Deep Canyon, and it's mostly downhill anyway, so it should be fine. But it was also like during some of the hottest hours of the day, and I ran out of fluid real fast. And so, and that was when I was low on my gel stores, because Deep Canyon Ranch was going to be my next drop bag, or my only drop bag that I brought. And so, like, I didn't have enough gels. I didn't have enough fluid for that stretch. And I think that part kind of set off a chain. Because then when I got to Deep Canyon, I was, like, chugging soda. And then I think that made my belly a little bit too sloshy. And that, like, kind of set a chain of events. So that's the only thing that I think I would change for that race in particular. But I think that overall, to extrapolate to other kinds of races is, be aware of how long it's going to take to get to the next aid station. Be mindful of the temperature of the day. I think I need a better ice bandana situation. I didn't have a great plan for that. I used like just a regular neck gaiter that had like elastic on the bottom, and I thought that would do a better job of serving as an ice bandana. It did okay, but it was mostly just kind of annoying. So I need a more robust ice bandana situation next time. Pegasus says, watching from my hospital room after a terrible car accident last week. I hope you're okay, man. Hope you can recover soon. Yeah, thinking about you. Post call with Paul says, did you have any fatigue from taking in all the gels? I felt like it was hard to take solids in towards the later half of my ultra. The gels went down fine until I started getting nauseous. And so, like, in marathons, I get a lot of gel fatigue. I'm like, I don't want to eat this. I know I should, but I don't feel like eating this. I'll just drink fluid instead. But then, when I started getting nauseous, I didn't want to take any I couldn't take liquids either or eat food. So, like, it wasn't gel fatigue. It was just stomach it didn't even feel like I didn't want to eat. I was thirsty and I wanted to drink more, but, like, I just felt like if I put anything in there, I'm probably going to lose it. And so I didn't want to risk adding in a little bit at the risk of losing a lot more. So that was kind of what happened. Yeah, Eric says, Gloriana Deep Canyon was a stretch. It's 8 to 9 miles. He ran out of liquid too. Yeah, see, I knew it was not short. I knew it was one of the longer stretches between aid stations, but I underestimated it is what happened, And Henky Wenky says, how do you compare 100K training to marathon training? Marathon training it's more serious, I feel like. It's much more intense. And 100K training was... my body was tired from all the mileage, but it wasn't as intense. And maybe it's because when I train for marathons, I'm training, I think, more specifically. Whereas with 100K training, I was just like, I don't know how to do this. I've never done it before. I was just training to finish versus with marathon training, I'm training to finish well. So that's like the goals are different, so the intensity is a little bit different, but both were pretty tiring. But I do think that one of the things that I am going to take away from it, though, is I think I'm going to switch back to a 7-day cycle, which I've been doing 9-day cycles for a while, but mainly because of the thinking that, like, well, I can do my long run any day I need to, because I don't have a regular, like, office job or other job where I need to be somewhere Monday through Friday. So I can do my long run any day. But what I'm finding is that I was able to get in better long runs during this 100K training, which I did use a 7-day cycle because I wanted to get into the trails on the weekends. And even though I don't have a Monday through Friday schedule, my kids do have a Monday through Friday schedule. So like still being on a 7-day schedule made things feel a little bit easier. And then it also aligned my Tuesdays and Thursdays. I take my daughter to rock climbing where there's the gym there. And so then I could do weights or a double on the treadmill or something really easily that way. And so like the schedule just lines up a lot easier. So that has nothing to do with 100K training or marathon training, but it's just something that I observed in my 100K training. You know. Yeah. All right. All right. Let's go to some boxes that I have here today. I do need to check my email on this real quick first, though. Just to double check there's no embargo on this shoe, if this is what I think it is. I saw it already. But yeah, okay. Okay, it doesn't seem... Okay, that email I have doesn't have anything about an embargo on it. First, let's do this. This is not the shoes, but we'll get to the shoes in a second. But this is from scratch. I don't know what this is. I don't think this is new, right? I don't think I've had this before. The passion fruit, orange, and guava. I gotta tell you though, typically when I see passion fruit in a sport drink, I'm a little bit underwhelmed. But I do like guava in a sport drink, and I love orange in a sport drink. So I think I'm gonna like this. But this will be nice. Here, did you know? Here's something that I learned the other day, and I didn't know this. Scratch has 400 milligrams of salt per serving. And no matter what Scratch product you use, it's 400 milligrams of salt. So whether you're doing the electrolyte drink, which is like no sugars, that's 400 milligrams of salt. Sport drink, 400 milligrams of salt. And it's 19 grams of sugar per bottle. If you do the high carb mix that they have, still 400 milligrams of salt. It's always 400 milligrams of salt, which makes sense. And that is like the exact amount, because I got tested one time, and that's the exact amount of sodium that I lose when exercising hard. I think that's why I like Scratch so much. Now, other drinks have similar salts, but 400 is a nice number for me. And then when I think about it, I drank like 17 of like little packets, maybe 16 little packets. No, I think that I brought 18 with me, and then I still have 3 or 4. So I had like 15. Let's say I had 15 packets of Scratch at Black Canyon. Now, I was running for 15 hours or moving for 15 hours. But 15 times 400 milligrams of salt, that's so much salt. My pack has so many like layers, like tree rings almost, of salt on it. From all the the sweating and the cooling down, and then sweating some more and then cooling down. It's kind of gross. It does a lot. But yeah, I'll try this next time. Passion fruit, orange, and guava. Okay. Brian Lacanadal says, if it tastes like the Pog drink in Hawaii, then I'm down. Okay. Mark Meyer says, I got several Pogs videos in my algorithm a couple weeks ago. Blast from the past. Oh, okay. Is that an old flavor? Post Call with Paul says, OMG, I love the Pog flavor. I like that it's called Pogs. Okay. Yeah, so we'll try that one next time. All right. Oh, I don't know if this is shoes, but I'm expecting something from Deckers. I think if it's even if it's the other thing that I think they're sending me, I think I could still show it to you. Photos by Dwayne says, have you tried Liquid IV? I have. I've tried Liquid IV before. I think I might still have some in the house. They've sent me a bunch of stuff previously. So pretty good. Pretty good stuff. But that Liquid IV has some sugar, but not. Because I'm trying to figure out, or think of it. I get Liquid IV confused with Drip Drop a lot of the time. Because Drip Drop is another one of those like electrolyte drinks. But both Drip Drop and Liquid IV, I think, have some sugar. Because like some of the electrolyte drinks have 0 sugar. Right? And then like drinks like Scratch have high sugar, but also salt or electrolytes. And then some drinks have some sugar and electrolytes. Right? I think Liquid IV and Drip Drop kind of fall in that same category. Yeah, so this is not shoes. But they did say they were separately going to send me something else. And this is what it is. I thought it was shoes today, guys, but it's all right. I've got a big backlog of shoes. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 6 shoes in there. No, 7, 8. I got like 8 shoes that I got to get to right now. So there's a lot. Anyway, first thing in here, new Hoka shorts. These are very short. Have just a racing stripe down the back. I thought this maybe would be like one of those t-shirt loops, but it's not. It's just a racing stripe. There are 2 like kidney pockets for gels that I think would fit in there. There's even a key ring on this one. A lot. I'm not a huge fan of the interior pocket. I know that Tracksmith does it as well, but it just feels like you're too close to your butt. I just feel like I don't like it there. Is there a key pocket on this one? No, there's a liner, but no key pocket. But there's 2 gel size pockets in the back. In between, it would go in between your butt and your shorts. I kind of like them on the outside. I guess does it matter that much? I don't know. Yeah. But a nice split. Really high split. But these are their race day split shorts. And then the other part of the package is this is really pretty. This is a really nice. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at that little flourish right there. I don't know if I like it, but I like the idea of it. We'll have to see how it looks on me. Instead of it just being like a regular like circle neck, or like a V-neck or whatever the neckline is on a singlet, it's a little Hoka bird. Wings. What do you call the logo? Is it wings? The Hoka wings is a little cutout on the front. But this color work is great. And then this material seems nice. We got some variable size holes in the mesh on the front. And then on the shoulders, there's like no holes at all. So it's just the material. And then on the back, there's a lot more holes. And then on the bottom, there's a lot of holes too. And then like heat pressed, what do they call these? Like the flat seams. Although there is a little bit of stitching right at the top here, but no stitch, like the heat press seams. I forget what they're called. And then they've got a nice notch on the bottom. I do like what they did at the bottom of this. I don't know if you could see it. So there's that. So yeah, nice singlet. They did tell me that they were going to send the new Hoka race kit to me to check out, along with their shoe that I'm still waiting for. I'm surprised that the shoe arrived first. But yeah, there's that. All right. Eric says, excuse me while I whip this out from Blazing Saddles. My wife and I, when we went to Arizona, we both ended up watching the John Candy. I know John Candy wasn't in Blazing Saddles, but like I'll tie it together. So we were both watching the John Candy documentary. It's like separately because we usually sit in box formation when the four of us fly. I sit with my older daughter. My wife sits behind us with my younger daughter, and then the kids each sit by a window. So anyway, we each separately ended up watching it. I didn't finish it. I think she did. But that was really good. But we're all like, man, we need to watch some of those old movies again. Like the pacing is so different on them. It's just such a different feel, and it lines up with like our idea that like we need to. My wife, who loves she doesn't love collecting, but she loves amassing things, I guess. She's like, I don't mind. We can buy DVDs. We can buy videos. Let's buy videos. And I'm like, yeah, maybe we should rely less on some of these streaming services because the things that we want to watch are not on streaming anyway. Like if I wanted to watch Great Outdoors, I don't know if I'd be able to find that. But if I had it on DVD, I can watch it anytime I want. You know? So, yeah. So, but anyway, it reminds me of Blazing Saddles because that's one of those older, very funny movies. That's kind of connected. And some of the actors were in movies with John Candy as well. He was in a lot of stuff, and he acted with a lot of people. Anyway, and Vanessa Martinez says, Eric, he touched the butt from Finding Nemo. Yeah. Yeah. And Charles Alfonso says, I have a race day photo of that moment. It looked like I was scratching an inner thigh itch, trying to get a gel on the inner pocket. Yeah, see? At the wrong moment, it can look inappropriate, you know? But, I mean, is it that different? If it was like on my back, on the outside of the shorts, and if you were taking a picture of me, it looks awkward either way. So I guess it doesn't matter that much. But I just generally prefer the pocket to be on the outside of the shorts rather than on the inside of the short. I don't know. Andrew in Indianapolis says that John Candy documentary is a good documentary. It's a sad one. It is sad, right? I was sad like watching it. There was like a sweet melancholy to it, you know, sad in a good way, but still leaves you a little bit sad. You know, that's how I felt. Izzy Kill says, have you heard of Blank Sports Nutrition? I have. I have not tried them yet. I know Rory Linkletter's I don't know if he's still working with them, but he has worked with them before. I think he might have been the first athlete that I saw try him. And then were they the sport drink sponsor at Marathon Project? I thought that they were, maybe. Yeah. Mark Meyer says, I just watched Planes, Trains, and Automobiles for the first time this past Thanksgiving. I've never seen the whole thing. I've only seen parts of it. So that's another one where I'm like, man, you know what? I'm like, I would thoroughly enjoy. Do you guys remember? It wasn't that long ago. Where like on Black Friday, there would just be the bucket of DVDs, like a giant bin. And like some of them would be like, oh, this movie came out this year. And some of them would be like really old. And like, I feel like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles would be one of the DVDs in like the $5 DVD bin. And like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang would be in there too. You know, like real, like old movies like that. The other day, I say it like it was a long time ago. I think it was yesterday or maybe 2 days ago. My kids and I watched The Sandlot. And what's hard for me about movies like The Sandlot is like, it's an old movie now, but set back at an even older time. And like, in my mind, I was like, this is a movie about the 60s set in the 90s, you know, that was made in the 90s, you know? And like, I feel like my kids probably don't understand that. They just, it's like, oh, this is all old, you know? And I feel like a movie that it took me a long time to realize that, oh, this is not a movie telling of like a contemporaneous story. This is a movie telling a story from a generation ago. A Christmas Story is how I feel about that. It took me an embarrassingly long time for me to realize that, like, oh, this is a period piece movie. You know, maybe that's just me. Sometimes I am slow on the uptake on stuff like that. But yeah. Luis says, I found a store in San Diego where you can find books, CDs, DVDs, and vinyl for $2. My son trying to start a CD collection. I feel like we need to bring some of those back. You know, I want to get those. Yeah, Vanessa Martinez loved John Candy and Cool Runnings, Uncle Buck, Armed and Dangerous, Eugene Levy, not politically correct. The Great Outdoors, I feel like is a super fun movie. There's a lot of stuff that he was really good in. We started watching Splash because that was in the documentary, and my wife and I never seen it before. And we put it on. I was playing Uno with my daughter, and we just put it on TV. And like, I didn't realize that like the mermaid lady person, like you see her butt like a lot of times in the movie. And it's not like graphic, but it's a PG-13. So we're like, that's fine. And then my younger daughter's like, oh my God, that's her butt. I'm like, yeah, that's her butt. Let's watch something else. You know, so caught us by surprise, I guess. Yeah. And Mark Johnson says, Spaceballs 2 won't be the same without Barb. I know. That's such a good character. Full name. Bartholomew. I mean, I used to quote that movie like all day long. That was such a good movie. Raspberry Jam. I love that movie was so good. Yeah, it won't be the same without him in it. But you know what? I've also, like, my entire life, I've been waiting for a Spaceballs sequel. For so long, me and my buddies would talk about, I can't wait till Spaceballs 3 comes out. And then some of our other friends would mean, you mean Spaceballs 2? And I'd be like, no, it's called Spaceballs 3, The Search for 2. You know, that's what we thought the title of the movie was going to be. But it never happened. And so I know they're talking about a sequel coming out now, but I feel like it's never going to happen. You know, I've given up on it. I would love to see a Spaceballs sequel, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like at this point, we'll see it like a Dune spoof before we see a Spaceballs sequel, which I guess could kind of be the same thing, you know. Frank says, what's amazing is that Mel Brooks is still here. I know. It's power of yogurt. Yeah. Glad he's still here. And Soy Run says, I feel old saying this, but they just don't make movies like that anymore. They sure don't. They sure don't. Yeah. Andrew Indianapolis says, you know, those older movies, though, show Tom Hanks in comedy roles versus his more dramatic roles he gets these days. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's like all of his early stuff was not that serious, you know? And what's funny now is like every time I watch like an old Tom Hanks movie, it's like his like signature bit. It's just like, oh, he's always like like moaning about something. He's like yelling about it. Oh, come on. He's always like screaming about something. That's like that's what his like go-to thing, which is pretty funny to see once I like noticed it. Vanessa says, you know, they replaced Timothée Chalamet with Elmo in a short Dune spoof. I want that movie made. Yeah. I feel like I could go for it. I feel like Dune is like infinitely more lampoonable than Star Wars is. Not that Star Wars isn't lampoonable, it's very lampoonable, but I feel like Dune is way much more so. Yeah. All right. I think that's a good place to leave it for today, guys. Otherwise, we're all gonna age ourselves even more going down this little trip down memory lane on it. But let's see. I was going to do and I think I still will. I haven't been doing like the brand breakdowns as part of my shoe reviews because it just made the videos too long. So I think I'm gonna do my first one of those this week, but I think we'll have a different video first because there's an embargo, a shoe coming off embargo this week. I think it'll be a surprise. It's a surprise to me. I think it'll be a surprise to you guys. You'll be like, well, I don't want to ruin the surprise, but I think you'll see that before I see you guys again on Thursday. But on Thursday, maybe those shoes that are supposed to go with this race kit will come in. Hopefully we'll be able to take a look at that. And then I promise on Thursday, I do have like 6 shoes we got to add to the shoe sheet. So it's going to be a spreadsheet day. Get ready. All right. Until then, be safe out there. Careful shoveling snow. Be safe. Hope you guys don't lose power. Stay warm and take care of each other. All right. Bye, guys.